What is going on, guys? I'm Mike Romain from SuperheroJack.com, the place where fitness meets everything nerd and pop culture. In this video, I'll be talking about the new patch 1.8, that just dropped on Disney Heroes Battle Mode. If you guys don't know about me, I play Hearthstone, Disney Heroes, Marvel Strike Force, and now the new game, Disney Sorcerer's Arena. No affiliation, one's Purblue, one's Glue, so it's completely different, but it is Disney. They're both team building games, and they're both a lot of fun. One's still in beta mode, but right now we're focused in on Disney Heroes Battle Mode and the new patch that just dropped. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the update. For those of you who don't want to sit there, read, and then go through each character, and you prefer a video format, that's exactly what this is going to be. If you guys are also looking for a recent tier list, I have that on the channel, and I will also be making an updated tier list after there's some character testings with the new characters that just came in for 1.8. So let's get right into it. In 1.8, right off the bat, we got 3 new characters. We have Alice, the Queen of Hearts, and the Mad Hatter. But before I jump to them, I will say that we also got an update to Invasion Mode because Server 1 players were asking for that. And if I skip over to that really quickly, I want to just show you some of the updates. Show better rewards, encouraging group play, auto revives, reducing overall play time of the invasion, more strategy when it comes to fighting the bosses, and some other updates if you guys want to go through more specific invasion changes. They came about because of Server 1 and they were asking for certain things, so they actually listened and changed that. That's one of the big things. We also got a hero update on Hero Hamada. So I'm going to start with Alice, but we will make our way to that. Alice is actually a backline support hero, which I think fits Alice. She's got her skill Eat Me, where she eats a cookie, healing her and making her become enormous. Very fitting. Flood of Tears is Alice Cries, slowing all enemies' attack speed. While enormous, her giant teardrops instead fall on enemies, dealing damage. So that's pretty cool. They're actually doing something where, like, Eat Me is already up. Flood of Tears will do something differently. She also has Tantrum, where she stomps her feet in frustration, increasing all allies' attack speed. And while enormous, she's doing something different. So obviously, Eat Me becoming enormous is going to really affect the rest of her moves. And Giant Boost is max HP, increases while she's enormous. So that's pretty cool. Mad Hatter, which I think is so cool. I'm such a fan of Mad Hatter, is also a new character. And he is a midline control character. He has Beat the Clock, where he smashes his pocket watch and he slows all enemies' attack and movement speed. The Mad Tea Party throws teacups and sorcerers at 3 enemies, dealing damage to each enemy hit and reducing their armor, which is pretty cool. Drop the armor and just take them right out. If you have somebody like Jack Sparrow, who's pretty hot right now, that might actually work well with him. He's got Sweet Tooth. The Mad Hatter uses especially Sweet Tea to charm 3 enemies in a row. That's pretty sick. I'm curious how that will work. Oblivious, the Mad Hatter becomes immune to all debuffs. That's also a pretty cool one. And we also have the Queen of Hearts, who is a frontline tank character. She has Shuffle, where the Queen of Hearts orders her playing cards to shuffle her enemies, swapping the 2 enemies furthest apart from each other and stunning them. That's pretty crazy. Wait, does that mean that you could take a frontline character and a backline character and swap them and then focus them? That would be pretty sick if that happened. Temper, once per wave, when the Queen of Hearts falls below a percentage of her max HP, she gains armor and attack speed for the rest of the wave. Off with their head, the Queen of Hearts will instantly KO an enemy with her basic attack if they are below an amount of HP. That's pretty sick. I think Maui has something like that, where he takes them out if they're at a certain HP level. He goes for the lowest. Maybe I'm mistaken. Royal Highness, the Queen of Hearts gains extra HP. Okay, pretty cool. And now we're here at the Hero Refresh. It's time for another Hero Refresh. If you guys remember back, Jack Sparrow, who I just mentioned before, was our first Hero Refresh. They're calling it a Hero Refresh because they're basically updating this character, or a character they think should be used more, but it's not seeing enough playing time, who basically needs a buff. But it's a refresh because they're going to refresh some of his moves, give him a bit of buff to his character, but also supporting characters that they believe work well with him. So we got Hero Hamada coming in, and he has his supporting characters who are Violet, Chief Bogo, and Eve. Lucky for me, I have not been leveling Chief Bogo or Eve at all, so great. Violet, I will jump on and try to level. Hero's obviously going to have the biggest buff because he is the one that's being refreshed. So he has his max HP, his basic damage, and his skill power are raised. His attack range is changed from mid to back. And then all his skills also got buffed as well, along with both his discs. We saw the same thing with Jack Sparrow, where he got an overall buff, like everything about him was buffed. And then when you start going down into the supporting characters, you see a little bit of a minor buff, and maybe one of their discs is buffed. Same here, a minor buff. I mean, it looks like they're getting decent buffs, but it's just not as big as Hero got, or the main character. So we got some new costumes as well. You got one for Stitch, you got one for Rex, and you got one for Merida. That's pretty cool. And if we go down, obviously it's telling us more about where these characters will be added. Team level cap is increased from 105 to 110 on our main server, on server 1. Heroes can now be promoted to Orange +4 from +3. And they have a new Chapter 16, which is where you'll be able to get Queen of Hearts, Scar, and Vanellope. For other servers, they get a smaller update, obviously. My main account, which is where I'm shooting to push rank 1, is server 14. We didn't get much of an update. I mean, we got Genie and Aladdin, which is really cool. I've been waiting for Aladdin for a long time, so I'm happy he's finally going in. We could farm Jack Sparrow. I already have him pretty well farmed, but we can now farm him in 6 and 7 elite campaigns. So we got a slight buff. If you guys are on 14 with me, or playing along with me, or even trying to catch up and just beat me, that's our buff. But that being said, let's move over to the game where we could actually take a more inside look at our new characters. Alright, so here we are with the Queen of Hearts. Obviously this is BlueStacks, so like the game does what it wants with these animations. So I'm just clicking, and we could try to look. Here we are. Here's her shuffle move that we read. Shuffles the enemies, the two furthest enemies, apart from each other, and stuns them on top of it for 5 seconds. Once per wave. With Temper, the Queen of Hearts falls below 50% of her max speed. She gains a ton of armor and attack speed. I like going through here because we see it better, and they actually give us something to like equate. Even without her fully leveled up, it's just something to eye. The Queen of Hearts will instantly KO with her basic attack if they are below 556 HP, and we can see that's coming through as true damage. And her Royal Highness, the Queen of Hearts, gains 1928 HP. Allies have a 52% chance to resist charms and instead be healed for 20% of their max HP. That is pretty sick. And if you missed it, she is a tank character. So let's scroll down a bit. We have, where's the support? Okay, we have Alice, who you get at 2 stars. So coming in at Eat Me, this is going to be the big move because she's going to get Enormous for 12 seconds. It's going to heal her up, and Enormous is going to take place in the rest of her moves. So basically on Flood of Tears, she's going to slow all enemies, but if she's Enormous, her giant teardrops instead fall on the enemies and deal damage to each enemy hit. And then if we look at this one, I should point out that this is fantastic damage, and this is normal damage. She stomps her feet in frustration, increasing all of her allies' attack speed for 35% for 6 seconds, which is really good. And while enormous, she instead stomps on her enemies, knocking them back and dealing 905 damage to each enemy hit. So she's got a ton of AoE when she's enormous. And then, also, when she's a giant, she increases her max HP by 9,363. I'm curious to see where these numbers are at when she's leveled up and maxed. And then, the character we've all been waiting for, somebody I'm really excited for, the Mad Hatter, is a control character. He's got Beat the Clock, where he smashes his pocket watch, slowing all enemies' attack speed and movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. That one's a good one. Mad Tea Party, coming in with fantastic damage, throws his teacups and saucers at 3 enemies, dealing 329 to each, and reducing their armor by 244 by 8 seconds, which is the big part of that move. I'm curious how that's going to pay off. The Mad Hatter uses especially sweet tea to charm 3 enemies in a row for 4.5 seconds. Each charm has a chance to fail against enemies above level 21. Then Oblivious. The Mad Hatter is immune to all debuffs, which is a pretty cool move. I might bring us right back to the website real quick. There is something else that we got. We got some saved lineups that they're showing us, where you could select lineups when you go into like Arena or Coliseum, I believe it was. I went in and I tested it out in Arena mode, saving lineups, so you could just jump in and select some of the lineups that you normally put together, or some of the comps. They did some better rewards in Heist, so that's pretty cool. More variety. So they are listening, they are changing things, they are making some in-game changes as well, not just adding characters and not listening to the player base. They have Arena and Coliseum improvements, so they are making other changes as well. I went through the bigger changes that I think you guys would want to see, the new characters, their moves, and personally, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to farm the heck out of Violet. I'm going to wait to see how people feel about Hero, Chief Bogo, and Eve. I think Eve's going to be really strong because I think Eve's already strong, but I know from the last patch when they did the hero refresh, Jack Sparrow was the main buff. He became OP in my opinion. He's like on the A+ tier if you look at the tier list. Barbosa became pretty good, and Rex and Nick just stayed kind of mediocre, so I don't really know. I think Eve is going to be OP. I think Violet's going to do really well with her shield, and I was versing her in some of the arena comps already, and she seemed pretty cool. I don't think she's going to be OP, but I think she will become more viable. That's one that I will definitely farm just because she's very easily accessible to me, and I still have to wait to see how I feel about Chief Bogo, but honestly, basing it on the last one with Jack Sparrow, Hero will probably be OP. I'm just saying it. I'm just calling it out. I don't know how much of a buff he truly needed, but from the looks of it, he will probably be really strong. I know Jack is tearing stuff up right now. You can deal with him with stuns and stuff, but he just is really strong. So I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this patch. If you want to do a brief overview like this, once again, if you guys want the tier list, make sure to check that out. So smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think about this. Were you guys expecting these characters? I know I saw some spoiler alerts. I knew they were coming already. I'm really happy about these. I'm happy they put out 3. I'm even happy about the fact that I got Aladdin on my main server, but I do want to test out these other characters and see how they go. Once again, subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.